All right, guys, here we go. Day one. Well, I should say afternoon one. I'm gonna get this build going. All right, we're gonna get started on this. I'm gonna do a time lapse on everything just to keep it quick. But if you guys do want to see something in particular, let me know and I will do a separate video on that. So we just got some of the parts in here. Now what I'm gonna do to start is I'm just gonna clean all the bolt holes with the different size taps, clean them out, make sure they're all good. And I'm going to get every nut and bolt in place on the frame. I have every bolt brand new. Huge thanks to WAYNESBURG YAMAHA. Tons of parts in here, all the bolts, suspension, frame, engine, every single one I bought brand new. So this thing will have a brand new bolt in every location. So I'm going to start out doing that. I can put the stem bearing in. I'll do that, and then I'll start just bolting parts on. Probably drop the motor in, and then work on putting all the bearings in, the A-arms and the swing arm, get those in place. Maybe throw the harness in there, but it's going to be a long process. So this is just the first video I'm going to do, and I'm just going to end up putting them all together into one giant time lapse. Maybe a couple time lapses. We'll just see how we go on time, but that's the plan. So guys, I hope you enjoy this. Thanks for watching. Peace. What's up, guys? So we're at it again. This is afternoon number 2. So this was yesterday's progress. I was probably out here for about 3 hours. Not too bad. Got the engine in, got the stem bearing in, all the bolts are in place, got the electrical in there, not hooked up yet, but the harness is in there, stabilizers in there. So today I am going to work on getting the swing arm ready to go. So I'll get the bearings in that, get the bearings, the seals, get that all done, ready to bolt up, and I'll do the same thing with the A-arms. So that's today's mission. We'll see if we can get that done, and rock and roll. All right, so stay tuned. What's up, guys? So here is afternoon number 3. Working on the new bike. Got some parts in. Figured I'd do a little opening of this because this is some really sweet stuff, courtesy of B&R Motorsports. He's the man when it comes to Yamaha, you know, just the Yamaha YFZ450 in general. I mean, those guys know all the ins and outs of it. I mean, how to get them dialed in, and pretty much from any budget, from mild to wild, they do it all. So this is a little package from him. He does all my suspension work. He did my head last year, which was awesome. And then lots of little bolt-on items. He gets those things. I get my hyper parts from him. They got a ton of stuff. The 24 volt setup I get from him. Lots of little things. I can't even think of everything right now, but just a ton of stuff. But this is something that is kind of a big deal. A little bit of a change for me this year. So these are my mod rings. So he gets these. So I get these from B&R, which is cool. So I can do my new tires finally. Alright, but in here is what I'm really excited about. Because I made a little bit of a switch. While I'm still with Fox, I'm on the Springer bandwagon. So look at these things. Pretty excited to try these. I've been hearing a lot of good things. So definitely excited to get these. A huge thanks to Ryan Smith at B&R and Robert Smith. Really excited to try these out. So that's that. What else do I got? Oh, that's nothing. So I got some ball joints for my A-arms because Hauser is apparently out of stock. So he got me those. Probably Hauser's out of stock because B&R has them all. Whatever. And that's it. So we are going to continue on with this new build. I'm just going to do time lapse. So I got a bunch of parts laid out. So the next step for me with this is get the stem in, which I have my brand new Hauser stem right here. +1 stem. So I'm going to get that in. And then I can button up the stabilizer. And then once that's done, I'm waiting for the front shroud on the radiator, like that black plastic piece. So I can't put that in until I get that. So once I finish the steering stem, I'm going to start bolting on the A-arms and the swing arm. And the next big step will be to try to get this thing into a roller, because that'll make it a lot easier as far as moving it around and getting it out of my way when I need to lift. So that's my next step. I don't think that'll happen today, but I'm going to do the stem today, and then I guess I'll probably start with the A-arms first, and then I'll do the swing arm once the front end's done. So that's today's mission. So Made some good progress. As you can see, she's almost a full roller. I still got to tighten up a bunch of stuff, but I'll go back and do that afterwards. Definitely starting to look like something, so I'm happy about that. Still a lot more to go, but definitely making some progress. So this is the end of part 1. So guys, stay tuned for part 2 once I get the rest of my parts in and I have enough to you know, spend a good night or two down, you know, in here again. I'll start the second part of the video, but I figured I got a good enough amount done now. I can get this video out so you guys can check it out. So as always, thanks for watching, and if you like what you guys are seeing, throw me a thumbs up, shoot me a comment, and please subscribe as always. So we'll see you on part 2 soon, guys. All right, so stay tuned.
Beep, beep, beep.